Hi, I'm Kira, and this is Sweetest Times. This is a channel that I will be using to share my crafts, mostly knitting, and cross stitch. Since this is my first one, I'm gonna share a bit about how I've grown up around these crafts, like where I've gotten to where I am. So my mum's been a crafter my whole life. She works with children, she scrapbooks, she knows other crafts, but they're, you know, the main two big craft things I've known from her. When I was little, she used to help me with like little bits of scrapbooking myself. This one to share about the puppy I had when I was little Stella Luna. She was pretty adorable, but she has since passed on. So these are the sort of crafts I was expecting to do as I got older, because that was what I was familiar with. This is another one of my little beautiful Stella. So I have done paper crafts in my life, done a bit of origami and things like that. That's what I grew up surrounded by. My mum also does card making. But as I got older and realised there was more, I discovered knitting, and that has been probably the craft that I have hung with for the longest. This is an example of my early knitting. It's a little bow on a hair tie. It actually currently sits as a bow tie on one of my teddies because I still have quite a lot of them from when I was little. I'm not quite ready to hide them and part with them yet. I have more knitting around. I don't even know where they are right now. They've been stashed and some have gone, but like I've got a knitted teddy somewhere that I made, but I can't remember where I put it. It's probably in there somewhere, but I had a look, couldn't find it. Probably one of the knitting projects I am most proud of is a blanket that took me, like a lap blanket that took me about 3 years to make, and then subsequently got claimed by my dog, the dog we have now, which isn't Stella. His name's Jack. He's a very fluffy Jack Russell, and he's adorable. Put some photos here-ish of him claiming the blanket, but this one I'm gonna have to go back a little bit because it's a decent size. It's, like I said, got claimed by the dog, so it's kind of a little manky, but it was a very basic project and actually got finished. It's pretty thin and not very well made, but it's still one that I am like really, really proud of. And it's got prickles and grass and all sorts in it because the dog sleeps on this basically every night. Like, he has it in his bed and he like lays his head on it to sleep with it. It's so cute. And like, if there's no blanket in his bed, he'll actually consider not sleeping in his bed because there's no blanket there. So he likes sleeping on the couch if there's a blanket there. He's a sweetheart. A funny sweetheart, but a sweetheart. This is another one that I finished. It's like a little vest with fringes. Pretty cute. I'm actually planning on gifting that one at the end of this year, hopefully. Guess, yeah, knitting was really my only craft for a long time. I dabbled with bits of other things. Beading was one of them. I didn't get very far. This is like one of the ones I actually have out. It's really hard to tell, but it's a little angel. I have ones that are fully beaded and they're a lot prettier, but they're in the Christmas box and that's not out yet, so I'll show that hopefully around December or November, depending on when I film and when it's out. Then probably the next big one that I got into was crochet. I don't really have no, I don't really have any that I can show off. I don't really know where they've ended up. Well, I know where one is, but that was like my first attempt and it was terrible. Not quite ready to show that one off yet. But I am working on two projects for crochet currently, but I will show those later. I discovered crochet during the pandemic and taught myself a fair bit of it during that time. Not a lot, I'm definitely no expert, and I still have to refer to basically the instructions every time I do a stitch after probably about a couple of days of not doing it. But then this year I discovered cross stitch and went on like probably from April to July long like binge on it. I've slowed down a bit now, but there was a lot of days where I was just like cross stitching away for as many hours as I could fit in. I have managed to finish 2 pieces. Neither of them are fully finished, but they are finished. So this one was the first one I ever finished. I completed this in like a month. This is a kit by Dimensions in their Learnercraft range. So this was Tea Time. I love it so much. I am tea obsessed. Like, there's a little bit of my collection up there. But I am tea obsessed, so this was like a perfect one for me to start on. I don't know how well you can see it, but my French knots are very, very varied in size. So that is a skill that I need to do more of to get better at. But I'm really happy with this one. I just need to sort of finish it off and finish it in the hoop. There is meant to be a tassel, but I decided I didn't want to do that because I don't think I'm going to be hanging it. I think it's going to be one that's going to be leaned against stuff, so a tassel would just get in the way. And the second one I finished are these 3 fishes. I want to gift one of I'm going to turn them into like little hanging ornaments, and I'm going to give one to my grandma for Christmas since she collects fish stuff. And I've got this really cute fabric that I'm going to do for backing fabric. Like, they're little fishies. That's upside down, I think. I don't think you can really tell either way. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be the backing fabric. It's so adorable. And yes, that's all my currently finished that I feel like showing off. So I guess I should move on to what I'm working on, my whips. I might start with crochet since there's only 2 of them that I am currently working on. This one, which, let's show you the other side, is going to be a cushion, and it's just a spiral cushion, just around and around, changing colours every other row. Actually every row, I think, except for that centre part. So that'll be cool. I like the colours for this one. It's just, I don't think the camera's picking them up very well because I have no natural light in my room right now. So I am relying on my ceiling light, and that is kind of really messing with the colour of everything. But yeah, I do want to get back into this one. I don't know why I've stopped. I think I just got frustrated or something, but I can't remember what it was. Second one I've got is currently just this. It's gonna be a beanie. With this colour changing yarn. The only problem I have with it is it doesn't exactly change gradually, and it was a very quick kind of colour change, and I didn't really like it, which is why I've halted with it right now, and because I started this around the time I discovered cross stitch, so I got obsessed with that instead. But I think it'll look really cool when it's done. So we'll see. I got the pattern for the beanie off Yarnspiration. I get quite a few of my pattern, like I've got quite a few patterns on there that I really want to try since they're free patterns, and I'm still really learning and discovering my skills with crochet especially. Okay, I guess the next one I might show off will be knitting, since there's 3 projects in that category. One of them is an almost finish. I've just got to put it together and do all the sort of like extra bits. I mentioned with the little vest that I was planning on gifting that. I babysit 3 little girls and I'm planning on gifting each one of them one. So I've made one and I'm like at finishing stages with the second one. So this is the back of it and the 2 sides. So it's not attached yet, and I haven't got the fringe or the fun little details. I can't decide if I'm going to do a heart for the embellishment on this one, or whether I'm going to find a different shape to do, like a flower or a star or something like that. But I don't know. I still can't work out whether this stripe is like a really muddy green or whether it's brown, because there's a green tinge in it. But I don't know. I like the colour. I think it's interesting. Something different. And this is the start of the 3rd one. Oh, I stopped halfway through a row. So far it looks pretty grey with a tinge of pink. This is what the ball is. I think it's could look really gorgeous, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Like the ball itself looks really gorgeous, but I don't know how that's going to translate to that. Especially since it looks so grey here, and the ball looked more blue, so there's a little bit of blue in it, but I don't know how well that blue is going to show up in the end. So I'll just have to keep knitting and see. I can always get a different colourway or different type if I think it's not going to be suitable in the end, but I'd rather not. And the last one is all knitted up. It's just going to take forever to put together, and it's going to be a flower garland. I think it's going to look gorgeous. But at the moment I am just these are going to be the flowers. I've just got to turn them into flowers, and I've got leaves in my basket, and I've got a long band for them to go on. It's going to be gorgeous when it's all done up, but at the moment it is, well, all in pieces and I'm avoiding it, but I do want to do it. I think once I've finished the Christmas gifts, this might be one that I focus on, since it is quite close to being finished. And that's all the whips I have for knitting right now. I guess I will move on to cross stitch. Despite only finding cross stitch this year, I have fallen headfirst into it. I have done a lot. And I think one of the things that really appealed to me about cross stitch is I have always wanted to be a good artist. I loved the idea of being able to create beautiful works, but I am not naturally talented in art, and what little skill I do have was lots and lots and lots and lots of work. And I don't know how much work it would take for me to actually get that type of skill in art, the skill that I want. So I think cross stitch allows me to make really beautiful artworks following other people's patterns without having the skill to get that result in artistry. So Right now I have 4 patterns on the go, and I've got one that I'm really close to starting. I've just got a couple more things to set up and then I can start it. So the one that I am currently working on is a full coverage, and I've only done like a tiny little bit. But this one is called Raven God. This was a quick stitch from Heaven and Earth. It was a freebie for, it is still currently a freebie last time I checked. I don't know how long it'll be a freebie, but given the way that they've been running their freebie page, it's probably going to be up there for a while longer. Let's go this one next. This one I started to join in with a cell, but then quickly fell behind, so it was more of a start along. So this is the Christmas memory jars. I'm only in the first one. There are 9 jars. And I think the sale is up to jar 6 or 7, so yeah. I'll get there in my own pace, but I'm pretty happy with how I'm going right now. My Raven God, I am doing 2 threads over 1 square of fabric on 25 count. I'm going to stick with that for this one, but I'm not sure if I'd do it again. Christmas Memory Jars is on 14 count white opalescent Aidar, so it's going to really sparkle when it's done. So I think it's going to be gorgeous. It's just going to take a while to finish. The next one I'm doing is Beauty and the Beast by Soda Stitch. I've gotten quite far with it. Well, I think this is going to be my next one finished. So I've finished all the edge pieces. I've just got to, like the corner pieces, I've just got to do the edge pieces and the center. I'm working down at the bottom on the castle, and I reckon it's going to be gorgeous when it's done, and I reckon it's probably the one that I'm gonna end up finishing next, because it is quite a fast moving piece. But that's still going to be a while away. That one I am doing on an Ecru 14 count. And the last one I am doing is, it's got a bigger hoop, so this one is Safe Harbour. I got it from a Cross Stitcher magazine. I can't remember which one. I believe the designer was Maria Diaz, but I'd have to look it up to be sure. This one is on an 18 count. I'm not sure if it's blue or grey, but I think it'll work fine for the piece. So my main aim at the moment is to try and finish the yacht. I think it's something that I think is going to be really beautiful when I'm finished, but it's going to be a while. But it too is also stitching up a lot faster than I thought it would, so I'm kind of excited by that. I keep all my cross stitch in like clear zip document folders. I just think they're easy, and these zips don't tend to catch and shred threads, so works. Plus they've got little pouches for the names. This one's in a bit bigger with a normal zip just because that's what it needed. I couldn't find the document folders in a big enough size for this one. Oh, excuse me. And I guess I should show you sort of what's one I plan to start next. I guess in plans, my first priority is to finish the knitting projects that I plan to give as Christmas gifts, since that kind of has a deadline stuck to it. But in everything else, it'll be just when I want, what I want, when I want. So the next one I do plan to start for cross-stitching is another Heaven and Earth design, but this one is a lot bigger. This one is West Beach Rock Wave Sunset by Jeff Pitchard. I chose this one because it's actually a local spot in my town, and I was looking through the website because they had a sale on, thinking, oh, maybe I should get something, and I saw this one and went, we have a West Beach, and then I looked at it and went, oh wait, that is our West Beach. And since it was 50% off, I couldn't help but grab it. And ever since I've shown a few locals, they're like, oh my god, you have to do this. I want to see pictures. I want to see everything. And it's like, okay. So that is why that is the next one that I'm going to start. So I have the fabric. The fabric still needs to get a stitch around the edge so it doesn't fray. Since I think I might be cutting it quite tight with this particular piece just because of what I could get. I wanted to make this one kitted up as locally as possible since it is of a local place. So what I could get locally was 36 count. I'm going to do it 2/2. I'll try it for a bit 2/2 and then possibly go 1/2 if it's too hard to get the 2 threads through these holes. And I have got all the threads. There are so many threads, like, I have invested a lot of money into this piece already, like, and that's not everything, that is just what is in my head right now, and I'm afraid to take it out further in case it all falls on the floor. But this is going to be a very long-term project. I really want to finish it, like, at some point, because it would be awesome to enter into the local show. A piece this size and of a local place would be amazing to enter into our local show. And I guess that's pretty much it for my first one. I'm really excited to be joining the communities that I want to join. I haven't decided whether to focus this as a knitting podcast or whether to focus this as a floss tube. But I guess if I find an audience in either, I'll upload my first one and see how it goes, and maybe decide on how to focus these videos in the future. But who knows what crafts that I could do in the future. I have been looking up a bit on quilting, and I think that would be really interesting to try, but I'm not quite there at actually trying it yet. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I would take any feedback I can get, and I hope that, I think I'll do these monthly. I just don't do enough in a week to do weekly. But I hope to see you back next time I post, if that would be what you want. It would be awesome if you do come back. thank you, and I hope to see you again.